Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of the Go-To Podcast. So happy to have everybody joining us back here on the podcast again. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, check the link in the description. There's a link to buy me a coffee. All your support goes back into the channel. Appreciate everybody who has supported so far. And we're keeping the lights on, keeping this podcast going. If I could just figure out how to use my phone as a camera, that would really help. I haven't figured that out yet. It won't let me use my phone. I don't know why. I just tried for like an hour to do it, but it doesn't work. But anyway, we're not going to bore you with that. I'll figure it out. There actually is a new setup I might actually be thinking of doing with it. But again, if that happens, then we'll talk about it when it happens. Right now, let's just get into this week's episode. Happy to be back again, as always. Had a really good week and got to try some interesting things. And we'll share that with you guys. That's what this is all about, is sharing my week, some of my go-tos and other things like that. We've talked about that before. Anyway, here we go. Back into the Michigas of the podcast. Let me tell you something. Long Island had a awesome week weather-wise. It was like summer. Every day was like 80-something degrees. It was like 60s at night. It was the perfect weather. It was beautiful. And we got spoiled, I guess, those couple of days because it is not like that today. Today's a little colder, rainy, maybe high in the 50s, high 40s. So, yeah, we lost that weather real quick. And, so we don't have that anymore. We're using, hold on a second. I just want to check something here. I'm sorry, I'm messing with the podcast as I'm doing it. Anyway, so yeah, we got the cold weather back. I'm not a summer guy. I wouldn't say, hey, summer's my go-to season. No, I'm more of a spring, fall. I like a warm day and a cool night where you can have the window open while you're sleeping, and that it's not freezing, but that cold air just sets you off to sleep like a baby. That's what I like, and we had that this week. And to me, the best part about that weather is you get to sit outside with a cigar, watch a Yankee game, get a fire going. I did that Tuesday night at my brother's house. I texted my dad during the day. I said, hey, you want to watch the game outside? He never turns me down, so I met him over there. He lives there, but I didn't meet him over there. But, I went there. Anyway, so Yankee game was going to start about 7. My dad had to take my niece to her softball, so I got there a little early, and I'm sitting there. I lit my cigar, and I'm like, you know what? A fire would go perfect tonight. A nice fire, nice campfire. My brother got the solo stove. And I remembered I had 2 bundles of wood in my car from my camping fiasco, my last camping attempt. So I came in, and I didn't have any more fire starters. I used all my fire starters. So I'm now channeling all the YouTube videos I watch, and I'm like picking apart some kindling, and I'm trying to get it going. And if it wasn't like as windy as it was, I definitely could have started the fire with just like wood shavings and sticks that I had taken off the regular wood. I could have got it going, but my dad came home and he had some fire starters and some kindling that we started the fire with. And it was perfect because it got a little chilly at night. Nice heat from the fire. Watching the Yankee game, had the cigars. That's a perfect night. I love sitting out with the fire. A fire is absolutely perfect. I don't know when in my life I became such a obsessed with sitting next to a fire. But as I get older, it's like my number one thing I like to do. Have a nice fire and sit out there with a cigar, coffee, whatever kind of drink I got. It would be a DC, and that's how I'm living. I'm living LIVN. Because it was warmer this week. My drinks changed a little bit as far as like what I was drinking. I wasn't just drinking coffee at night or my DC. I dabbled. I went a little off the beaten path, and I dabbled with some of the refresher drinks that Starbucks and Dunkin' offer. So the first one I tried this week was I want to get the name right, was the Starbucks Mango Strawberry Refresher. It's absolutely delicious. It really is. I see why people like these. The first one I got that had bits of strawberry in it. The second one I got did not. I don't know if that's different. I got it from different locations. I don't know if some locations put the fruit in it, some don't. I like the fruit in it. It was good, like, getting bits of fruit while you're drinking it. But I also enjoyed the one without it. Either or, I can take it. Not a big deal. Very good drink. Nice alternative to coffee, especially on a hot day. Get a little juice action going. And I had the Dunkin' one yesterday. I had the mango pineapple. The mango pineapple from Dunkin', absolutely amazing. I got the light one, um, which is made with. I think it said it was made with green tea as and then it has the fruit flavors and stuff. It's not as much sugar, and I didn't want to get the energy drink. I didn't want to use. I'm not a fan of energy drinks at all. I don't drink Monster. I don't drink Celsius. Anything that's like an energy drink, I stay away from. No Red Bull. I mean, the last time I drank Red Bull, I was doing Jaeger bombs with my boys back when I was like 27, 20 years ago. I haven't had a Red Bull in 20 years. Oh, that's crazy to think about. Oh my God. I just had like an old man moment. Oh my God. Oh, it's 20 years ago already. That's ridiculous. Oh my God. I'm so old. 20 years go by so fast. I just had like a real time freak out. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it was 27. Yeah. I really stopped drinking. Not that I didn't have a problem or anything. I don't like it. I'm not a big drinker. I don't like being drunk and being drunk. Mm. But my last like real good run with going out and drinking and partying was 27. That's going to be 20 years ago. I was working at King Cullen on the weekends, a couple of nights a week on the weekends. I remember I would go out on Friday. I would get to the bar. I used to go to Farrell's in Belmore. And I get there for the Yankee game about 7 o'clock. I get something to eat and I drink the rest of the night. I drink to midnight. And then I walk home. I'd be home by like 1 o'clock. Between when I left and when I got home and when I got to bed. And I had to be at work at 8 o'clock. If I woke up at like 6:30, I got a decent amount of sleep. And that was my last hurrah with really being a drinker. It was 20 years ago. Wow. That's just crazy to think about. I'm sorry. I had a little moment there. But yeah, so I don't mess with energy drinks. I don't mess with that kind of stuff. So I was looking at Dunkin' and I had to be they had a zero one, which was zero sugar. And I'm like, oh, cool. I'll get the zero sugar one because I don't need sugar, amongst other things. And it showed that it was a energy drink, and it had 145 milligrams of caffeine. It's like a coffee, I guess, but I don't know. I just try not to. My light went out here. I try to do something. Hold on, I gotta do something here. So we're gonna try to do something. There we go. So now it's gonna be like a spooky podcast the rest of the way because I have my light is not working. My light went out. Hold on 1 second. This is live here. I record live, so that's why this is happening like this. I hopefully that doesn't fall. But yeah, so maybe do. Yeah, it's better. So yeah, it's crazy to think about like how long ago that was and how much I've changed in that sense that that's not really my thing. I'm not a party guy, this and that. And energy drinks is where I draw the line when it comes to being health conscious. Yeah, I just don't like them. I'm not a fan of them. I feel like it just speeds up your heart and everything too much, and God knows I don't need that. And it's kind of like when I was younger in my party days, and people was just whipping coke out and passing it around and being like, "Hey, you want to try this?" And I'm like, "Nah." You got to make a decision when you're in your 20s. You can either be fat or you could do coke. You can't do both. It'll come back and get you. So I always made the conscious choice to be a fat guy, and I did not mess with coke or any other the powders and stimulants that got you going. No meth, speed. If I did anything, I smoked a little weed. I smoked weed. That was it. That was my days of doing illegal substances. Now it's legal, so. But yeah, I never messed with any of the pills, powders, or anything like that. I would smoke weed, and it made me sleepy. I fell asleep. That was a big side effect. And my girlfriend at the time used to get so mad at me because we'd be at like a friend's house, and we'd smoke, and then there I'd be like, I just go pass out, which is kind of like what I do now anyway. So nothing's changed in 20 years. But yeah, that is my public service announcement to the children today. Children, you could either be fat or do coke. You can't do both. Doesn't work out. Doesn't work out well. So make your choice. You like Shriadel or you like coke? I like Shriadel more than coke. I'm sorry. That's where that went. That's how my decisions go. But in all seriousness, no, I do want to try to get like healthier very soon and get back on track with eating right and taking care of myself. I had a podcast about that before, and that's just how I got most of my followers on social media and everything. It was being the WW bro and taking care of myself. And if I do, I'm gonna eventually have to do something. I can't keep going on this way, but I will not make it public. I'll talk about maybe here and there, but I'm not going to make it a public. Um, this is what Anthony's doing, blah blah blah, because it's too stressful, and that's one of the reasons why I stopped the other podcast. It was just too much. So that's gonna be like a private thing. I hope people understand that and can be cool with it. But yeah, that's just gonna be my own thing. But like one thing I did this week was instead of I wasn't getting crazy. I don't get crazy things for lunch. I got like a wrap or a sandwich. Like, turkey provolone. I know cheese is not the best thing for you, but I got a chopped salad, and I'll give the deli out. If you're on Long Island, go to Gold and Myers in Airport Plaza in Farmingdale. They make well, the food there's good. I usually get lunch, but the chopped salads there are absolutely phenomenal. A nice full chopped salad. They pack the container. I got chicken, chickpeas, apple, croutons, and craisins, and I got a light Caesar dressing, and I got cheese on there too. And it was phenomenal. Everything's chopped up nice. Flavors went well together. I love a salad. I no matter where I am in like a health journey or I'm not a health journey, nothing hits like a nice salad. It's nothing to do with health. I just like salads, And that's the thing too. Like, people see a big guy eating salad, and it's like, oh, you're doing like, no, I just like salad. It's delicious. One thing, I'm a big fan of everything in one bowl. Let's mix it all together. Here you go. That's how I like to eat my food. Even when I eat on a plate, I like to mix everything together. I like all the flavors together. I don't like eating like one thing, then eating another thing. Everything's got to go together. And it's Thanksgiving. People my cousins would make fun of me and say it was disgusting because everything was like mixed together on the plate. Because everything in one bite, you got to get everything in the same bite. You got to get a little potato, a little turkey, a little stuffing. Everything's got to be. That's how the flavors are supposed to be. So a salad works out perfect. Everything's thrown in. There you go. At home, I here at home, I make all the time like rice bowls. Like, I'll heat up some brown rice. I'll throw some chicken, cheese, um, vegetables in, and everything's in one bowl. It's just easier to eat that way. Easier to eat, all the flavors together. I like all the flavors coming together. Christmas, the kids now are starting to make comments too because my Christmas bagel is out of this world. Christmas bagel is my brother makes a huge spread on Christmas morning. He owns a deli, Finn's Deli in Massapequa. Go check it out. So he'll prep everything there and bring it home. We just have to heat it up. And, so it's eggs, bacon, sausage, hash brown, potatoes. So I take the bagel, I put some cream cheese on it. Cinnamon raisin bagel, by the way. I put eggs, bacon, sausage, and potatoes, ketchup, and then I put the top on the bagel, and I try to cut it in half, and I try to eat this thing, and it just gets everywhere. And then all like the remnants fall on the plate, and then all those flavors together. It's delicious. That's how I like things. Mix it up in a pot. I like all my flavors together. It's probably one of the reasons why lasagna is my favorite food. Everything's right there. Noodles, meat, you got the sauce, everything, cheese. Which, by the way, had some delicious lasagna yesterday. I'll get into that in a little bit, but yeah, that's so. Check them out, Golden Myers, the airport. I have a tangents I just drop into, yeah. I mean, I eat like an animal. Just put it in a bucket, and I'll just eat it out of that. I like all my flavors together. I'm sorry, I like the mix of flavors. I think that's how you're supposed to eat food. One flavor complements another thing. Sorry, that's how it should be. Um, yeah, I mentioned lasagna, and the reason I mentioned lasagna is because I had some yesterday. My niece made her communion yesterday. Her first communion, which I'm so proud of her. I really am. She she did great. She did amazing. And I get to the church. I'm not a regular churchgoer. I was raised Roman Catholic, but as I got older, I'm not religious. I'm more, I guess, a spiritual person, as you would say, as they would say, or whoever would say. I, yeah, I'm not crazy religious. I'm not that religious. But my niece has taken a liking to religion, and it makes her feel good to go to church and everything, and I love that for her. I really do. 8 years old, and all she wants to do is be a good person, and she is. She's the absolute best. So I'm at the church yesterday. I get in, and I was looking for my family. There was a lot of people around, so I just sat in the back. I'm like, you know what? I'm more comfortable back here, um, out of the way, and I'll get the perfect view when she's walking in. So I didn't know the kids were already. They were sitting in the pews with with their parents, and then they were going to bring them back, and then have them come back in. So the kids are walking towards me, and there's my niece in her communion gown. She got a little bit of lipstick on. She looks so grown up, and she's making like the prayer hands. And she walks by, and I'm looking at her, and she looks just so beautiful. I'm so proud of her, and she does a little wave to me, and I just start crying. I'm like, I'm sorry. I was so proud of her. One of those moments, I'm sitting there crying in church now. Thank God I was sitting in the back, and there wasn't a lot of people around me. They didn't see. We got a fat man weeping in the church in the back. Go see what that's about. Those, of the loudspeaker. No, my niece. Listen, those kids, my nephews and my niece. If you know me at all, you know how much those kids mean to me. And I start talking long enough about them, and I will start crying. That just happens. So I'm going to stop now because I'm going to make this podcast a cry-free one. I know the keep moving forward break down like every other episode. So we're going to keep this one a tear-free one. Just that seeing my niece all dressed up in her communion dress and just being proud of her, and I got overwhelmed with emotion, and you know, and she did such a great job. She did amazing. Went and got her communion, and then afterwards went back to my brother's house, and I had a cigar outside with my dad and my sister-in-law's brother. Went back in and we ate, and my brother had that's one thing. You go to my brother's house, it's never short of a spread. It was steak. There's lasagna. There's potatoes, asparagus, zucchini. There's lamb. He had a lot of different foods out, so I made myself a nice plate. The lasagna was delicious. I love lasagna. So I had lasagna, steak, asparagus, sweet potatoes. So good. I mean, what's better than that? Yeah, you go to my brother's house, you don't starve. That's one thing about my brother's house. There's always food going on. He's hosting on the week. If he's hosting something, you're eating good. And then we eat good regularly. So, plus it's nice to eat real food. That's the thing I got to on the go and stuff, eating a lot of processed stuff. There's nothing like real food. Just makes you feel, you don't feel as bad as other foods and stuff. So I was glad to get some real food in me and nice home cooked meal. Because what I make is quick. I make I'll cook up some chicken. It's not real food, but like I don't know, like a meal, like a big spread like that. I cook quick things. I'm by myself. I should get into it more. I should get into cooking more because I really enjoy it, and I think we're going to soon. With the change of wanting to be healthier and stuff like that. That's gonna have to come with it. So anyway, this is one of my favorite weekends of the year. This is WrestleMania weekend. This is my holiday. This is my Super Bowl. And yesterday I brought my iPad to watch WrestleMania because the Knicks were on at the same time. I put it on and I fell asleep. I slept through most of WrestleMania. I had to watch it again when I came home last night. First time that's ever happened. You know what it was? The night before, I didn't sleep great. I was up early for the communion. And by the time 6 o'clock rolled around, I was done. And I slept through most of it. I woke up for the main event. I was in and out, so I saw bits and pieces of it. But I saw the main event last night. My brother had me cast it to the screen. So I watched it with him and one of his friends. Cody Rhodes defeated Randy Orton. Excellent match. The match I thought was phenomenal. Really, I'll talk about it more next weekend, I guess, because tonight CM Punk is facing Roman Reigns for the main event, and there's a lot of other matches on tonight too. So we'll go over it next week, more of WrestleMania stuff. I just like this weekend, and and normally I would that's my weekend. I'm parked somewhere, having a cigar, watching it. But my niece made her communion, and those kids come above everything. So I joked around saying the only one who could make me miss WrestleMania would be my niece. But I didn't miss it. I watched it, and I watched the Knicks playoff game. I was in and out, but I saw most of it. And they're off to a good start. They won. They beat the Hawks. Yankees are playing better. That's a good sign. They had nice little output yesterday. They won 13-4. I know they're playing now, so I don't really know what the score is because I'm using my phone as a light because my other light, I forgot to charge it before I did the podcast. I was so worried about getting the podcast on the phone. I didn't charge the light. But yeah, no, the Yankees are playing better. The Giants pulled off an amazing trade where they traded Dexter Lawrence to the Bengals. They got the 10th overall pick. So in the draft, they have the 5th pick and the 10th pick. I mean, I'm getting crazy over here with the Giants. I want football to start now. I really think within 3 years, this team's going to win a Super Bowl. John Harbaugh has really turned this franchise around. I'm excited about it. I am very excited about the Giants' future. And it's been so bleak for so long that finally we got some faith. And today is, day 2 of WrestleMania, like I said. So my day today is once I finish this podcast, I will upload it. I'll schedule the release for Monday. And then I'm going to get ready, and I'm going to head down to the cigar lounge. And I'm going to have some cigars, some coffee, and watch wrestling like a gentleman on my iPad. My iPad's charging over there. And it's going to be a good Saturday. I took off from work tomorrow so I can sleep in. And that's part of my whole thing, too. I take off of work the day after WrestleMania, so I'll have a nice gentleman's day on Monday. It's a good weekend. It's been a really good weekend. Full of all the things I love. Family, good food, cigars, my sports teams, wrestling. It's been a good weekend. It really has been. So we're going to keep it going. So that's why we're going to do the rest of the day. I want to thank everybody who joined us here on the Go-To podcast for episode 4. As always, the podcast is available on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We're available there. Please, on any of those locations, 5-star rate and review. I love to hear what you think about the podcast and what's going on. So please, hit me up. I have a link in the description below. Buy me a coffee. I appreciate all your support. All the money goes back into the podcast and keeping the lights on, so to speak, if I remember to charge them. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining me this week on the Go-To Podcast. My name is Anthony DiDomenico. Have an awesome week. I will talk to you later.